There is an old saying that when the student is ready, the master will appear. When the student is ready, the master will appear. Now, the master's appearance might not be in a human form. It could be given through an act of nature, something that you notice, but very often it's given in literature, in what you glean from a book. You'll read something and it'll stand out and you'll think, wow, and it could change your life. That is the master appearing because you as a student are ready. In this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, he relates a story about how he came across a book in a library, opened it up, probably at random, seemingly at random, and noticed something which changed his life. And what he noticed was this: there is a gap between stimulus and response. There is a gap between stimulus, or what triggers something, and our response to it. Now, sometimes it's so infinitesimal, and generally it's not noticed. And if someone upsets us in some way, we immediately react. We do not notice the gap. But you can, now that you've been told, knowing that there is a gap between stimulus and response, you can take action to widen the gap. Widen the gap. That pause can become longer between what you've interpreted, for example, as an insult, and your response to defend your ego. Way back in 1986, I did my first Vipassana course, 10 days of total silence, 11 hours meditation a day. And in it, we developed, those doing the course, the ability to feel the feelings in our body as they arise. Now, let's get back to the gap. When somebody says something to you, and it triggers some emotion within you, in that gap between when the event is triggered and your response to it, in that gap, the feelings in your body arise. The feelings arise. And if you are sensitive enough to them, and if you can focus on the feelings and observe the feelings rather than reacting, just observe the feelings, you will notice that those feelings arise, almost overwhelming, but gradually die away. This gives you mastery. Being able to observe those feelings in that gap between stimulus and response gives you the mastery to be able to make the right response. The response not from your ego, not from defending something, some idea within yourself, but the real self is able to determine what to say or do next. Worth remembering. This is why I always advocate that people do a Vipassana course, a 10-day Vipassana course, because that will introduce you to something very powerful. It'll introduce yourself to your real self. You will start to realize that you are not your emotions. You are not your mind. You're not even your body, your physical body. You are something beyond that again. But knowing about that gap and how you can deal with your life in that short moment between a stimulus and response will give you the power to become a master of your own life.